Hello, 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 Dana Wilde, and welcome to the show. I think you're going to like today's topic. It's one of my favorite topics. It's money. And how can I make more money? We had somebody write into the show. And by the way, if you want any topic addressed on the show, you can just go to danawilde.com/askdana, fill out the form there, and we'll address the topic. And that's what this person did. Here is what they wrote. Dana, I just calculated what I earned last year, and it's the same amount I've earned for the last 4 years, and I want to know how I can make more money. Can you help? So let's unravel this with a few little bits and pieces here, because it's easy to say, well, everybody wants more money, or that's something that you're always going to want, that whenever you make a certain amount, you're going to want more. So the first question I would ask you is, why do you want more money? Like, what feeling do you associate with having more money? Is it a feeling of freedom? Is it a feeling of luxury? Is it a feeling of achievement? Is it a feeling of happiness? Like, what does the money represent, the having more money? Why do you want it? Often people will say freedom, right? I want to feel more free. I want to be able to do what I want. I don't want to think about money. I want to just be able to spend what I want on whatever I want, whenever I want to. Those are all very valid reasons. And certainly money does equate to freedom for a lot of people in the culture. So starting point would be to ask yourself now, if you know what it is that it represents, is there any other way you could incorporate more of that feeling into your day-to-day life now? If you think it's going to bring you the feeling of freedom, how can you feel more free now? And sometimes it's going to be with action. Maybe there are some action things or some things you can switch around or some choices you can make that are going to help you to feel more free. But of course, you're talking to the brain trainer here, so I'm going to tell you, start with mindset. Start with realizing the freedom you have. Start with talking about the freedom you have and build on that. Realize how free you already are, how much you already are able to do, all the freedom that you have, the choices you're able to make. You know, really, when it comes right down to it, there is not a lot of stuff we have to do. If we're willing to suffer the consequences, or the repercussions or the fallout, there's really not a lot we have to do. And so now it becomes a matter of, how can I find those pockets of freedom, those pockets of feeling freedom? And how can I cultivate those pockets of feeling freedom? How can I apply that more and more to my life? How can I think about my freedom more? How can I talk like, you know what, I am free. I do have choices. I can do what I want to. I like that I can switch things up. I like that I have the freedom to choose the next thought. I like that I'm free to think in my own head. I like that I'm free to create my own happiness and to think how I want to think and to generate the emotions I generate. Okay, so that's the first thing. The second thing is, when you want something and you don't have it, you're telling your reticular activating system. And remember, that reticular activating system part of your brain is like a matchmaker that lives in your head. And it matches up what you're thinking about and what you're talking about. And so when you've got a chronic emotion/thought process going around lack and not having enough, and not having enough, and not having enough, and not having enough, your reticular activating system says, this is important to you. You keep thinking about this. You keep thinking about it. So we're going to make sure that you get more of that. So if you're feeling of lack or want, your reticular activating system is finding ways to generate more want and more lack for you. So when something has got your attention, when you're thinking about it a lot, it's impossible to not think about it. So the thing to do is instead replace it with something else. So the answer to how do you get more money, how can I make more money, is to think and talk about how much money you already have now and how good it feels and how enough it feels. Now, some people would say, oh no, Yeah, I don't want to talk about that this is enough because then I'm not going to get any more. So it's kind of a crazy paradox, right? We think like if I appreciate what I have, then maybe like I'm telling the universe that I don't want more. But it's quite the opposite. When you are appreciating what you have and when you're talking about what you have and when you're feeling rich beyond measure and when you're feeling like you've got enough and more's coming in all the time. Now think about how that feels in your body when I say those sentences. When you think those sentences, how does it feel in your body? You know, I've got enough. I've got more coming in all the time. It feels so good to have so much. I love being so rich in so many ways. I love that I am able to treat myself in so many ways. I love the money that I have coming in. It feels so good. It feels so good to have this flow of income and abundance coming to me. I have so much abundance in my life. I love the feeling of abundance and I am surrounded by it all day, every day in my life. I see the abundance everywhere. It comes to me in so many forms. Like when you start saying those sentences, feel how good those feel in your body. And think about the message you're sending to your brain. Your brain is now hearing, oh, you've got enough. You've got more coming in all the time. There's abundance everywhere and more abundance and more abundance. And now that reticular activating system starts putting more and more abundance on your radar. And so this is a matter of awareness. I call my company the Mind Aware, not the Mind Happy, because you've already done the heavy lifting. You've already done the hard work. You already have looked and seen the result you're getting and made a decision, I don't want this result anymore. So that part's done. You've done that. The worst is over. You've done the awareness part. That's the hard part. Most people are walking around on automatic pilot. They're just going through their day, not even paying attention. But you have woken up to what you desire. You've woken up and realized you have a chronic thought about this. And so now it's about shifting that story. Shifting that story around abundance. Shifting the story that you already have it. And then what will happen, the third phase of this, so the first phase is what does it represent to you? Is it freedom or whatever? How can you have more of those thoughts now? The second phase is start talking about it as though it's already happened. Start talking about the abundance you already have. And then the third phase of it is you will start to get inspired ideas. You'll start to get ideas that come from the new place, the new thinking, the new brain, the new creative pathways that are opening. How will you know? How will you know if it's a good idea? And here's how. It'll feel like this. Oh my God, I just got the best idea. When you have that feeling, that's the one to follow. I just got the best idea ever. And I personally think that's the place we should all act from. We call it intentional action in this sandbox, the Train Your Brain sandbox. We say feel good first, then take action. Feel good first when you've moved yourself to an emotionally positive place. Well, when you've moved yourself to an emotionally positive place, when you're focused on abundance, you get those brilliant ideas because you're using your best brain. Those creative pathways are opening up and you have access to the kinds of things that bring in the money. So start with the mindset. Start with that brain training. Start with realizing that you already have it. Get that emotional state going in your body that you already have it. Get feeling good. Say those positive sentences. And then watch that idea come. And then that's the time to take action. And the best part is you can start right now. Get those juices flowing, get those feeling good, and it feels so good. Let's do it. Let's get steeped in appreciation and how awesome everything is and how lucky we are. And look at all the abundance around us. And aren't we blessed? Isn't it so fun to be an entrepreneur? Don't we have so much freedom? Think of the freedom we have and the goodness and the opportunity. Oh man, I'm just loving it. And I know you are too. And we'll see you next time on The Mind Aware. Bye, everybody. Mwah.